The night before our wedding, my fiancée, Rosalind Jennings, cheated on me with a suggestive short video streamer. The man uploaded explicit videos of them online, complete with close-ups of the distinctive rose tattoo on Rosalind's collarbone. Overnight, news that I'd been cheated on spread throughout the entire city. The next day, Rosalind actually showed up at the wedding venue, arm in arm with that streamer, mocking me relentlessly. Sincere Clark, besides being born lucky, what part of you can possibly compare to Kian? It's not that I look down on you, but only Kian can give me the ultimate pleasure a woman desires. So, I'm marrying him. Without much argument, I agreed to call off the wedding on the spot. I even countered by gifting them $10 million, wishing them a long and happy life together. From that day forward, the Jennings family, once riding high, began a steep decline. In less than 3 months, they were bankrupt and drowning in debt. By the time Rosalind was tearfully begging the world for my forgiveness, I already had my arm around my new wife's waist, honeymooning around the globe. Sincere Clark, if you have any shred of manhood left, stop clinging to me. Call off the wedding cleanly. With your family's fortune, surely you can find another woman? In the banquet hall filled with most of the nation's elite, Rosalind openly clung to another man's arm, raising her voice to shout at me. The man beside her was none other than Kian Barnes, the suggestive streamer currently trending on short video platforms. Kian was scrawny with bleached blonde hair, ears full of piercings, and layers of skull necklaces draped around his neck. He looked utterly out of place among the formally dressed crowd. Yet he seemed completely at ease, casually holding up his phone, live streaming the entire time. Yo, bros. Your boy made it big time today, checking out a place this high class. Look at these pillars. Practically gold-plated this abalone, this Australian lobster. And hey, 87 Lafitte and Romani Conti, alright guys. For every rocket you send, I'll chug a bottle later, get those gifts flowing. As he spoke, he panned his phone around, shamelessly filming the surrounding guests. I gave a slight nod to the side. A dozen bodyguards emerged from the shadows, silently surrounding Kian and Rosalind. Seeing this, Rosalind immediately shielded Kian protectively, snapping at me. Sincere Clark, what do you think you're doing? I'm right here. Are you planning to resort to violence? Is this the magnanimity of the Clark heir? Just clinging on pathetically. You truly disgust me. Looking at her young, pretty face, I felt no anger, only pity. A rose coddled in a greenhouse doesn't realize it attracts not just gentle breezes and butterflies, but also opportunists waiting to cash in. While Rosalind frantically shielded him, Kian, behind her, secretly aimed his phone at a nearby hostess, trying to capture an upskirt shot. I didn't feel like I'd lost to someone like him. It merely highlighted Rosalind's utter lack of judgment when it came to men. Even Jasper Chapman, my buddy since childhood, couldn't stand it anymore. Miss Jennings, have you lost your memory? Wasn't it your Jennings Motors that was desperate to expand into the new energy sector, rushing to latch onto the Clark family's coattails? Didn't you diligently bring sincere love lunches, rain or shine, sucking up to him for 3 whole years before finally securing this marriage alliance? Why do you make it sound like you were forced? Rosalind scoffed, completely unfazed. I didn't understand what it meant to love someone back then, so I yielded to the family arrangement. But now I know Kian is my soulmate. I'll marry him and no one else this lifetime. As she spoke, seemingly to provoke me further, she stood on her tiptoes, wrapped her arms around Kian's neck and gave him a deep, passionate kiss right there in public. Kian, chasing clout and loving the drama, shot me a defiant look, still holding his selfie stick for the live feed. The two kissed intensely, sparks practically flying. If the surroundings hadn't somewhat restricted them, they likely would have done something even more outrageous. Rosalind Jennings, have you lost your mind? Get away from this scumbag right now. An angry shout came from the entrance. Rosalind's father, Marcus Jennings, arrived with a group of relatives. He had just entered when he witnessed the scene, clearly infuriated. He strode forward, yanked Rosalind away, and landed a heavy punch on Kian, knocking him to the ground. Kian, bleeding from the corner of his mouth, still didn't forget his selfie stick. He aimed it at the screen. Hit the jackpot. Folks got hit by the CEO of Jennings Corp. Let's just lie here and see if we get a new car or a villa out of this. Marcus Jennings trembled with rage, yelling at Rosalind. You turned yourself into this disgrace for this thing? And you dare offend the Clark family? How could I have raised such a brainless daughter? Rosalind showed no shame. That's just Kian's persona for the stream. He's not really like that. He's actually very low-key and deep, and he treats me incredibly well. Unlike Sincere Clark, I chased him for 3 years, and he was always cold and indifferent, providing zero emotional value. Marrying a man like that would ruin my life. Before Rosalind could finish, Marcus slapped her hard across the face. You idiot. Do you have any idea how many daughters of wealthy families citywide are lining up to please Mr. Clark? Over 70% of the Jennings family's investments these past few years were secured through the Clarks. If you call off this marriage, not only will your life be ruined, but the entire Jennings Corporation will go down with you. Veins pulsed on Marcus's forehead. He looked ready to kill her. Rosalind was stunned by the slap. She'd been spoiled rotten since childhood. Her family had rarely even spoken harshly to her, let alone hit her in public. Humiliated, her eyes reddened. Seemingly blaming me for everything, she glared at me with even more resentment, muttering curses under her breath. What's so great about Sincere Clark? Wasn't he just born lucky? Kian built himself up from nothing, becoming a viral blogger with tens of millions of followers in just 2 or 3 years, with him helping us live stream and sell products. Why would we worry about selling our cars? Such childishly laughable remarks instantly drew roars of laughter from the crowd. Built himself up from nothing? This guy's got skeletons galore. Used to be a male model at some club. Got famous only because some sugar daddies bankrolled him. Rumor is he doesn't discriminate between men or women if the price is right. When that video leaked last night, I thought someone was trying to sabotage the Clark-Jennings marriage with a malicious AI deepfake. Didn't expect it to be real. Looks like the Jennings family's ancestral luck has run out. Marcus Jennings has terrible luck too. Hustled his whole life, only to have everything ruined by this destructive daughter in his old age. Hearing the surrounding mockery, Marcus grew even more furious. He raised his cane high. Rather than let you disgrace us further, I'll beat you to death right here today as an apology to the Clark family. Before the cane could fall, I signaled the bodyguards, who intercepted Marcus. Mr. Jennings, why the anger? It doesn't have to come to this. A calm, detached smile played on my lips as if none of this concerned me. Confusion flickered across Marcus's face, quickly replaced by ecstatic joy. Mr. Clark, does this mean you're willing to forgive my daughter? That's wonderful. I'll discipline her properly. I guarantee she won't cause any more trouble. I glanced up at him. Forgive? Did I ever say I blamed your daughter? Marcus was overjoyed upon hearing this. He looked at me excitedly. Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Clark. You are truly magnanimous. No wonder you're the esteemed Mr. Clark. Marcus fawned over me, but I simply regarded him coolly. There's no need to thank me. However, the reception is about to begin. Would you please escort your daughter and future son-in-law out, Mr. Jennings? I even made a polite please gesture. The smile instantly froze on Marcus's face. Mr. Clark, what do you mean? Today is the wedding banquet. If Rosalind isn't here, how can you get married today? He looked at me awkwardly. Also, that kid will never be our family's son-in-law. We only acknowledge you. Marcus's tone grew agitated. Hearing this, I gave a disdainful smile. As if I needed his acknowledgement, I stood up, looking down at Marcus from my slightly elevated position. Mr. Jennings, you seem to have misunderstood this event today. If I say it's a wedding banquet, it's a wedding banquet. If I say it's a cocktail party, it can only be a cocktail party. My gaze turned icy. Did she think a mere Rosalind Jennings could humiliate me? Did she even qualify? Here, everything is decided by me. I don't blame her because she isn't worthy of my blame. I'm asking you to leave because Rosalind herself explicitly requested to cancel the engagement. I looked at Marcus with a cold sneer. Or are you suggesting, Mr. Jennings, that I should beg your daughter to marry me? As I finished speaking, beads of sweat instantly appeared on Marcus's forehead. He stammered for a long moment before finally remembering to shake his head in denial. Not at all, you are Mr. Clark. It is my daughter's honor to be with you. But our two families have come this far. If we don't get married, it will be very difficult to smooth things over. Marcus was still trying to persuade me. I genuinely laughed at his words. Then I looked around at the guests. Excuse me, everyone. If I don't get married today, will things be difficult to smooth over? The crowd immediately shook their heads. Difficult for Mr. Clark? Is Mr. Clark the one who did something wrong? Marcus Jennings, have you gone senile? Do you really think your daughter is some priceless treasure? If there's no wedding, the only ones facing difficulties will be you. It's your daughter's ignorant arrogance that personally destroyed your family's future. Everyone present was mocking Marcus Jennings. Marcus looked utterly embarrassed. He turned his head and glared even more furiously at Rosalind. If you don't apologize to Mr. Clark right now, don't even think about returning to the Jennings family. His face was red with anger, his voice hoarse. Rosalind, however, gritted her teeth and defiantly linked arms with Kian Barnes. You can't control me like you used to. The only person I love is Kian. Her words seemed to finally push Marcus over the edge, causing him to almost cough up blood. You wicked child. Marcus was heartbroken. How did I end up with such a foolish daughter? His body went limp. If someone hadn't caught him, he might have collapsed to his knees. Rosalind's expression flickered, but ultimately she hardened her heart and didn't spare her father another glance. Sincere Clark, if you're a man, stop making things difficult for my dad. She tilted her head up, looking at me angrily. I glanced at her. Trying to deflect blame onto me is pointless. I already agreed to your request to break the engagement. It was your own foolish actions that angered your father to the point of spitting blood. Besides, if I actually wanted to make things difficult for you, none of you would be leaving here today. I let out a cold laugh. Though I didn't know when she'd become so stupid, I knew exactly how to handle her irrational behavior. Rosalind was silenced by my rebuttal. Meanwhile, the streamer Kian Barnes was still enthusiastically live-streaming. Thanks to Just Eat Cilantro for the 999 rockets, let's go, bros, as Kian shouted boisterously. He grabbed a bottle of Romani Conti from a nearby table, put it to his lips, tilted it back, and chugged the entire bottle of top-tier red wine. Rosalind, for some bizarre reason, looked at me with a smug expression. See that? That's vitality. Being with him makes me feel alive. She happily leaned into the camera to greet the viewers. I frowned and waved a hand. A waiter approached Kian. What do you think you're doing? Do you always have to be so extreme? I love Kian, and I'm not wrong if you dare touch him in front of over 10,000 viewers. Be prepared to lose all your savings, Rosalind yelled at me, completely disregarding her image. Watching her almost resemble a petty gangster, I increasingly felt like Kian had inadvertently saved me from disaster. However, the waiter merely presented Kian with a bill. This bottle of wine is $50,000. Will that be cash or charge? The waiter looked at Kian impatiently. Kian blinked, then shamelessly asked, I'm here doing a review. I have over 10 million followers. Drinking your wine is free promotion for you. How can you ask me for money? Exactly, don't you understand how things work? This is the internet age. Even if you're an international 6-star hotel, without my Kian promoting you, do you know how much business you'd lose? Rosalind chimed in frantically. The people present were business elites from all over the country. After all, anyone invited to my wedding banquet likely had a net worth in the billions. Hearing Rosalind's clownish statements, they could only look at Marcus Jennings with increasing pity. As for Marcus, he had completely fainted again, spared from hearing his daughter's foolish opinions. With all due respect, Miss Jennings, I'm afraid Kian's followers are not exactly our hotel's target demographic. The hotel's duty manager, who had been waiting nearby, interjected smoothly. Furthermore, we consider having him review our establishment to be a disgrace to our hotel. The manager had been prepared for such incidents. You, Are you asking for trouble? Kian, being a popular streamer, was used to getting free meals and perks using his clout, and few dared to cross him. Being humiliated today in front of his live audience was unacceptable. The manager, naturally, wouldn't waste time arguing. He stated clearly that if the bill wasn't paid, they would call the police. Fine, just wait for my fans to flood your comments section. Kian, furious and embarrassed, finally yelled at Rosalind, "What are you waiting for? Aren't you going to pay? Do you expect me to pay myself?" But Rosalind obediently trotted off to make the transfer without a single word of complaint. I shook my head. This woman was beyond saving. Just then, Marcus Jennings finally regained consciousness. "Mr. Clark, can you give us another chance? Even if we can't be married, we don't have to become enemies." Marcus was practically on his knees begging me. I glanced at him but didn't engage. Seeing this, Rosalind inexplicably got angry again, pointing at me and yelling, "Sincere Clark, if you're a man, give me a straight answer." I frowned. This family was truly exhausting. I then had someone send a bank card over to Rosalind. "Let me be perfectly clear, I agree to cancel the engagement. Furthermore, this card contains 10 million. Consider it my wedding gift to you. Please, you two, be sure to live a long and happy life together forever and ever." I stood on the stage looking down at her calmly. Rosalind was stunned for a moment while Kian immediately snatched the bank card. "Is there really 10 million in here? This is a legal gift, right? You can't take it back." Kian's face was flushed with excitement. After recovering, Rosalind shot me a triumphant look. "See, you finally get it. You can't force someone to love you. Even if you could have my body, you could never have my heart. Seeing as you gave me a 1,000,000 wedding gift, I can pretend the previous unpleasantness never happened. I'll let you know when it's time for our wedding reception." She looked at me haughtily. But no one else in the venue dared to make a sound. Marcus Jennings looked utterly despairing, almost rolling his eyes back and fainting again. "It's over. The Jennings family. We're finished." He collapsed onto the ground, utterly dejected. In the end, Rosalind led him away, and the boisterous Kian finally left. The venue remained quiet. I smiled at the crowd. "Everyone, please relax. Let's just treat today as a business gathering. I trust none of you object to me hosting you for a mixer." Instantly, almost everyone began to flatter me. "It's our honor to be invited by Mr. Clark, especially getting to meet all the esteemed figures here today. It's all thanks to you, Mr. Clark."
"Yes, thanks to you, I have the chance to meet these industry leaders.
"I hope for opportunities to collaborate in the future. Mr. Clark, allow me to propose a toast to you." The atmosphere shifted from dead silence to cheers of my name in less than 5 seconds. As for Rosalind and her companions, naturally, no one mentioned them again. After the party, news of Rosalind demanding to break off the engagement on the wedding day spread throughout the city. Everyone who heard about it agreed that Rosalind had lost her mind, except for one person who specifically called to mock me. Well, Mr. Clark, you've really hit a low point, haven't you? Getting dumped by someone like Rosalind Jennings? And for a male streamer who practically sells his ass?" Victoria Sheridan laughed without restraint. A dark line formed on my forehead. Facing this close friend I'd known since childhood, I found myself unable to refute her. "All right, that's enough. It's not like you're exactly in high demand either, right?" I retorted irritably. "Aha. So now you admit she dumped you, huh?" Victoria seized on the slip in my words. "Bullshit, wow, you're so crude." I felt like continuing this conversation would literally kill me from sheer frustration. After a moment, Victoria suddenly said, open up, I'm at your gate." I paused, pulling up the security feed on my phone. Sure enough, there was Victoria Sheridan, dressed in high-end luxury, sitting in her car and waving at the camera. That pink Lamborghini Veneno, the only one in the city. She had taken it with her when she moved away years ago, and I hadn't seen it since. "What brings you back? Didn't you say after moving away, I'd have to be the one to visit you?" Seeing Victoria again felt just like old times. She bossed me around, making me brew tea for her while she sprawled on the sofa without a care in the world, as if it were her own home. "Well, I heard you got your heart broken. And even had the woman chase you down to break off the engagement. Thought I'd come back and see if you'd cried yourself to death. She sat cross-legged, grinning at me. My mouth twitched. Had this woman lost her mind? It's just Rosalind Jennings. You think I'd be that heartbroken over her? I rolled my eyes at her, but Victoria looked me over carefully before saying, "Scumbag. It was the wedding day. Didn't you have any feelings for her at all?" Her attitude baffled me slightly. I had feelings, but I'm not sad because she left. I shook my head. The whole situation was more than anything incredibly exasperating. Besides, I wasn't the one in the wrong, so why should I be sad? Oh, right. Honestly, I was more upset back when you insisted on moving away. These past few years, I don't think I've made any new friends. No one to grab a drink with and blow off steam. I shrugged, telling Victoria. She blinked at me. Then why didn't you call and tell me? Even though I said I wouldn't come back, look, you needed something and didn't I rush right back? She unconsciously pouted. No way. I rolled my eyes again. Knowing your tendency to push boundaries, there's no way I'd ever admit I missed you. Get lost. Victoria scrambled up and aimed a headbutt at me. If I hadn't reacted quickly, it probably would have knocked my breakfast right back out. Just as we were roughhousing, the villa's main door was unlocked. Sincere Clark, are you doing this on purpose? You. Rosalind Jennings walked in, and at that moment I happened to be holding Victoria. But it was only to stop her from fighting. There was absolutely nothing else to it. Rosalind froze for 2 seconds, then erupted in fury. Well, Sincere Clark, how many days has it been since we broke up, and you're already with someone else? Are you even a man? Do you have any loyalty to love? She pointed at me, rattling off accusations. Her words were so outrageous I thought I must have misheard. Victoria pushed me away immediately, stood up and pointed right back at Rosalind. You, Jennings, did hooking up with that ass-peddling streamer starve your brain of oxygen. You cheated, got exposed online, and Sincere was still willing to go through with the wedding without blaming you. Then you yourself showed up at the wedding demanding to break it off, wanting to spend forever with that ass peddler. And now you have the audacity to lecture Sincere about loyalty? She rolled her eyes so hard they nearly disappeared into her head. It's beyond being a whore and wanting a monument. Seems like you don't even care about the monument. Victoria's face dripped with contempt. Rosalind stared at her, her face instantly flushing red. She pointed a trembling finger at Victoria, shouting, "So it was you! You bitch, I knew someone couldn't have gotten into Sincere's heart this quickly. Let me tell you the truth. Those bed photos I sent you years ago, I photoshopped them. I hadn't even managed to win Sincere over back then, but you were my biggest threat, so I had to find a reason to keep you away from him." After revealing this, Rosalind looked smug. Didn't expect me to play you like that, did you? Now that you're back, you're still just eating my leftovers. She started mocking Victoria again with passive-aggressive jabs. Hearing this, my face darkened. So Victoria's sudden move back then was because of Rosalind? Just when I thought Victoria would be as angry as I was, she dove straight into my arms, wrapping her hands around my neck. Her warm breath tickled my ear. Well, that's just too bad, Miss Jennings. Actually, back then, I saw how hard you were trying, and I pitied you, so I let you have Sincere. Victoria's lips curved into a smile. I didn't expect that after all these years you haven't matured at all. Still so brainless you'd actually give up Sincere willingly. This time, I won't be so polite with that. Her red lips pressed against mine. Her soft, small tongue parted my lips, initiating a deep French kiss right then and there. Rosalind watched from the side, her eyes turning red with fury. She suddenly lunged forward and yanked me away. "Sincere Clark, how dare you kiss another woman in front of me?" She glared at me angrily, but I shook off her hand, retorting dismissively, "Miss Jennings, please show some self-respect. We have no relationship now, and you have absolutely no right to dictate anything to me." Rosalind was so angry she could barely breathe. She pointed at me, furiously stating, "I cheated, yes, but I only made a mistake that every woman might make. We were together for so long. Haven't you ever considered that treating me like this is unfair?" She sounded like she was about to cry, but watching her, I only found her even more baffling. So, your idea of fairness is interfering in my life after demanding we break up? Can you please try using your brain before you speak next time? I looked at her, speechless. Then, losing patience, I asked her, "Is there something you need from me? If not, please leave. You are currently trespassing." I had simply forgotten to delete her facial recognition access, which was why she could enter so easily. Only then did Rosalind seem to remember her purpose. She pointed at me, demanding, "Are you behind our family's business troubles? Why have several partners refused to work with us since the engagement was called off? They'd rather pay breach of contract penalties than continue providing us downstream resources. Dare you say this has nothing to do with you?" Looking at Rosalind's furious face, I felt increasingly certain that this woman was truly brainless. I didn't even want to answer a question. Ask whoever refused to cooperate with your family. Don't come to me demanding explanations, okay? With that, I waved my hand, wanting her to leave quickly. But Rosalind stubbornly refused to go. "You make them cooperate with me right now, immediately, otherwise, our family's business will definitely suffer." She stared intently at me. My patience was wearing thin. What does your family's suffering have to do with me? I was truly exasperated. But Rosalind countered, "How does it not have anything to do with you? Even though I didn't intend to marry you, I was still your fiancé in the past, and you helped our family for so many years, even if we can't be husband and wife. We're not enemies. You shouldn't hold a grudge against money." Hearing this truly made me laugh out of sheer anger. What you did would have gotten you drowned in a pig cage in ancient times. And you're telling me we're not enemies? I had completely lost my patience. And you know I helped you for all those years? If I fed a stray dog on the street every day, would at least remember to bark a couple of times to greet me. But you? My eyes grew colder. 70% of the Jennings family's partnerships were secured through my connections, and I was the one who saved the Jennings family from near bankruptcy years ago. Forget gratitude, now they had the gall to blame me. Are you daring to say my family is worse than dogs? Rosalind's face flushed red with anger again. Her focus was bizarre, and I couldn't understand what exactly she was angry about. If you don't have time, just get out. Don't disturb Sincere and me being intimate. Go find your Kian. Victoria rolled her eyes again. Her contemptuous tone was like shooing away a stray dog. Rosalind's breathing grew heavier. She asked me, her voice trembling with tears, "Sincere Clark, dare you say you have absolutely no feelings left for me? How could you get together with someone else right after breaking up with me?" I was truly at my wit's end with her antics. "What exactly do you want? You were the one who cheated. You were the one who demanded the breakup. I fulfilled all your requests, and now you're trying to make demands of me." Done arguing, I directly called the villa community's security to escort her out. As Rosalind was being led away, she specifically shouted at me, "You just wait. I'll definitely have Kian expose you two adulterers. Get ready to be cyberbullied." I didn't even glance her way. Victoria watched her leave with a look of pity dripping with sarcasm. After Rosalind left, the world was finally quiet, followed by a strange, palpable awkwardness. Victoria quickly pulled away from my embrace, sat down beside me, and picked up her teacup. This teacup really looks like a teacup. As soon as the words left her mouth, her ears turned red. Looking at this close friend whom I'd known practically since birth, I suddenly felt a sense of clarity. What had she been to me all this time? A mischievous friend from adolescence? A classmate I studied hard with? Or family, someone I wanted to share every joy and sorrow with? It turned out the person I had been searching for was right beside me all along. Thinking this, I pulled Victoria towards me and kissed the lips that had just offered themselves, firmly this time. A momentary panic flashed in Victoria's beautiful eyes, quickly replaced by an even more eager response. Victoria didn't leave that day. The next morning she had breakfast ready and waiting for me. Ever since I started living alone, I hadn't hired any maids. I disliked having strangers in my house. This feeling of being taken care of was wonderfully strange. So, are we now? I sat down about to ask when Victoria stuffed a piece of European bread into my mouth. Her face was flushed. "Let's get this straight. I didn't plan on getting together with you. Last night was just an accident." She kept her head down. I froze, a wave of disappointment washing over me. This felt completely different from when Rosalind left. Perhaps this was what falling in love felt like. Then Victoria looked up. "You have to pursue me, otherwise I won't be with you." She looked at me fiercely. I was stunned for a moment, then overjoyed. "Okay, I'll pursue you." Looking into Victoria's eyes, I said the words I'd never uttered before in my life. Afterward, successfully winning Victoria over was entirely expected. During this time, I tried to understand Rosalind. Perhaps some people really could change one's perspective on love. But I quickly dismissed that thought regarding Rosalind. If cheating was the prerequisite for change, then it was something I would never do. Over the following period, Victoria and I were practically inseparable, growing increasingly familiar with each other. Just as I was preparing to propose to Victoria, Rosalind suddenly launched a smear campaign online. Everyone's been calling me a cheating woman lately, but what I want to tell you today is that Sincere Clark was the one who cheated first. I was heartbroken after his infidelity. If it weren't for Kian, I never would have gotten through it. She sobbed tearfully into the camera. All of this was broadcast live using Kian's account, and his tens of millions of followers were no joke. On the day of the live stream, searches related to me on search engines spiked, exceeding hundreds of millions of clicks. Having tasted success, Rosalind went live again, claiming I was the reason Jennings Motors was facing hostility from all sides, even publicly soliciting business partnerships. Does being rich make you invincible? Family, you all know what kind of person Keon is. If he hadn't been born poor, would trash like Sincere Clark even get to be rich in this world? Family, please help report him if you can. Boycott the Clark family's businesses. We can't let capitalists like him run rampant. Rosalind attacked relentlessly online. Initially, I dismissed her as a clown. My businesses were mostly multinational, and Kian's followers weren't my target customers. But she became increasingly excessive, and my inaction allowed public opinion to sway. That's when I finally ordered my legal team to take action. During this period, Marcus Jennings repeatedly came to my company to apologize, begging me to let Rosalind off. But when it came to having Rosalind issue a clarification, he hesitated. Fine, then I would help him. In just a day and a half, the legal team gathered all the evidence of Rosalind's slander. They timed the release perfectly, broadcasting a clarification across all networks during Kian's appearance at a major video platform's annual gala. The attention garnered by the annual gala dwarfed anything Kian could achieve alone, and I had the power to make the entire gala pause momentarily for my lawyers to deliver their statement. While over half the country's netizens were watching the gala, the host made an emergency announcement. Regarding the recent emotional dispute between Mr. Clark and Miss Jennings, Mr. Clark's professional legal team is here with us today. They will provide the most authoritative and detailed explanation. The announcement stunned everyone. Being able to interrupt the annual gala like this, what kind of person is he? I searched online for this Mr. Clark, not much info, but confirmed net worth in the hundreds of billions? Is this how rich people handle PR? The live comment stream filled with related remarks. The lawyers then presented all the evidence they had gathered. Rosalind's slander was easily disproven. Records showed exactly when and how many times she and Kian had booked hotel rooms. Evidence also showed how she used my money to fund Kian's company. The fact that 70% of her family's past partnerships were facilitated by me was revealed, and even the companies that had severed ties issued statements clarifying their reasons. This information effortlessly debunked Rosalind's lies. More importantly, after this incident, Kian was completely banned from all online platforms. Not only that, he had to pay hefty breach of contract penalties to his agency, and all the brands he had collaborated with sued him. Once Kian's actions were exposed, all his past misdeeds came to light, leading to widespread boycotts of products he advertised. Almost overnight, Kian was buried in debt. After handling all this, I officially proposed to Victoria in a dream castle by the sea. That night, I replaced fireworks with a sky full of drones. 3 months passed, bringing us close to the wedding date. This dreamlike sequence was the beginning of my happiness. On the wedding day, I was as nervous as a young boy. Finally, I kissed Victoria, completing the ceremony witnessed by all our guests. As the guests were leaving, I noticed Rosalind downstairs. "Sincere, it's me, Rosalind. You can't marry that woman. The person you love is me," she was screaming like a madwoman. Seeing me emerge, she tried to rush forward, but security guards held her back firmly. I gave her one cold look. How could I possibly ever have been with such a lunatic? A moment later, Kian rushed out from the side of the road. He kicked Rosalind hard. "Damn it, I told you to get money and you run here begging your ex-boyfriend to take you back? You think you can dump me? You're stuck with me for life." He grabbed Rosalind's hair and practically dragged her into his car. The car door slammed shut. Inside, Rosalind frantically screamed for my help, but all of this was her own choice. What did it have to do with me? Later, while Victoria and I were on our honeymoon, Rosalind called again, begging me for a loan to tide her family over. Jennings Motors was about to declare bankruptcy, already billions in debt. But looking at Victoria nestled in my arms, I resolutely refused her. "I won't let you get away with this," Rosalind shrieked. Unfortunately for her, she wouldn't get the chance. The day I returned from my honeymoon, I heard the news because Rosalind couldn't get the money to fund Kian's extravagant lifestyle. He had stabbed her over 30 times. Kian had been arrested for intentional homicide, and the full force of the law awaited him. I didn't dwell on it. After all, from now on, my focus should be on my new life with Victoria.